Good day to you. My name is Jeriel Emmanuel P. Galinera of BSIT FOP IO1. And for today's info video, we will talk about biodiversity. What is biodiversity? According to worldwildlife.org, biodiversity is all the different kinds of life you'll find in one area. The variety of animals, plants, fungi, and even microorganisms like bacteria that make up our natural world. Each of these species and organisms work together in ecosystems, like an intricate web to maintain balance and support life. Biodiversity supports everything in nature that we need to survive: food, clean water, medicine, and shelter. Why is biodiversity important? The loss of one species can significantly affect the lives of other species of animals, plants, and even their physical environment. Biodiversity helps us humans in three different ways. First is direct services, namely food, shelter, and medicine. Biodiversity provides raw materials for food production, shelter, and medicine. Less biodiversity means less animals, microorganisms, and plants to keep the waters clean and the soils fertile and ready for agriculture. Almost every medicine we invented comes from researching the relationship and interactions between organisms and their environment. An example is artemisinin, a cure for malaria with a whopping 100% effectiveness, which is extracted from sweet wormwood. Next is indirect services. Indirect services are services that we benefit from having a well-balanced and healthy ecosystem. For example, mangrove trees, as we know them, help protect us from floods, strong waves, and erosion. Mangrove swamps are coastal areas where mangroves grow, and these serve as habitats for various organisms that are valuable to us. Next is aesthetic or ethical effect. The aesthetical and ethical value of our world is determined by its healthy ecosystems, abundant biodiversity, and etc. If we continuously deplete the value of our world, soon enough the future generations will live in a world which value has decreased greatly. What makes matters worse is when species go extinct, ecosystems get destroyed, and biodiversity drops. It is impossible to increase the lost value. These are some impacts of humans on biodiversity: exploitation of species, destruction, degradation, and fragmentation of habitats. Humans have destroyed habitats for agriculture, forestry, fishing, urbanization, and manufacturing. Habitat fragmentation means that the populations of a species has been split into smaller groups, and changes in the environment make it difficult for these smaller groups to survive and adapt. Land use changes, or resource exploitation. Habitat destruction, conversion of natural habitats are included in these. Pollution. Waste dumping in bodies of water and noise pollution may disrupt animals' way of life and their physical environment. Climate change, and lastly, introduction of alien species or invasive species. Now, what are invasive species? According to the National Wildlife Federation.org, an invasive species can be any kind of living organism: an amphibian, plant, insect, fish, fungus, bacteria, or even an organism's egg that is not native to an ecosystem and causes harm. They can harm the environment, the economy, or even human health. Species that grow and reproduce quickly and spread aggressively with the potential to cause harm are given the label invasive. We benefit significantly from our environment as it provides food, shelter, and protection from various natural disasters. For instance, a forest can help prevent landslides and flooding from the mountains down to the towns, but in return, we consume so much more of the finite resources our environment possesses, and thus apply anthropogenic stress to our environment. An example of such anthropogenic stress we deal to our land is our interference with the phosphorus cycle. What is the phosphorus cycle? The phosphorus cycle is the biogeochemical cycle that describes the movement of phosphorus through the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. This is the phosphorus cycle. To make it simple to understand, we would be identifying the four major steps. First is weathering. Next is the absorption by plants. Third is the absorption by animals. And fourthly, decomposition, where everything returns back to weathering. Humans have significantly impacted the phosphorus cycle by fertilizer, distributing food products, and artificial eutrophication. Fertilizers containing phosphorus add to the phosphorus levels in soil, and this is particularly detrimental when such products are washed into local aquatic ecosystems. An increase in phosphorus levels through natural processes is called the natural eutrophication. On the other hand, when the phosphorus levels are too high, this causes a spike in the growth of algae and would grow excessively, which is detrimental to plants and animals alike. Now, I would like to ask you back the same question. What do you think? Are we humans invasive? Thank you for watching my video.